all of it or most of it, and this other guy wants the other half, and we want to take it now. So it kind of gives a guide rail for people to look, who want to apply. It's like, oh, geez, they're only going to give 25%, and that's going to be my ask, or a portion of that. So it gives guide rails in that sense that when applicants come in, they come in with the mindset, hopefully they come in with the mindset of, I'm only going to get an apportionment of the total and not, I want, because people have come in and they wanted the whole damn thing.
I know.
So there's a guide rail in that sense, so I like that part.
John, anything?
Just, the priority to applicants who have not received funding in prior years, that's fine, but priority first and foremost goes to the town manager in the town. So there's my only concern with that.
But the application that would be more for the public coming in. Obviously, Bill should still be able to do whatever.
Yeah, I want to make sure, because if we don't have it and the town has to take these funds, and we have to just say no to certain applicants because we don't have it for that year, and that 25% we're going to save, or what it may be, that's our discretion.
And it is, it's up to our up to 25%, which means we could choose to give nothing if we didn't have the funds that we felt like we had.
Yeah,
the funds
but I want to
give.
make sure that the public understands that too.
That, like, I see what you're saying, like, so if the town manager, for whatever reason, needed 20% or 25%, that's it for the year. Because then otherwise you might have the public thinking that, oh, well, I need up to 25%, or 50% of it is now gone. So the up to 25% is kind of guardrails for both the town and folks from the outside, but that preference and prioritization towards the town needs.
Correct.
Yep, I think that makes sense if the language gets tweaked to accommodate that, just to lay out the expectations better.
Exactly.
Yep.
But the town, like priority.
Priority, yeah, town has priority first.
How would you word what you had suggested?
Let's see. Priority shall be given to the town manager. Trying to figure out for, you say emergency purposes or basically shortfalls? What are you thinking?
I don't know if you say emergency
That's-
purposes.
Just need,
It's just
Need
like
for
that's-
need.
Town needs.
Projects approved by the board.
Say that one more time?
For priorities are given for town of Pembroke projects approved by the board.
Okay.
Presented by the town manager and approved by the board. How's that?
Sounds great.
And for the, one second, for the,
They're going to be few and far between.
sure, yeah.
It's,
And this is all done by fiat, so,
Yeah.
to have a policy, it's great, it's understandable, it provides a framework, but it is up to the board. There are gonna be, I mean, think about real-life situations. There's gonna be a time when the town manager needs it, he doesn't know when he needs it, but he might. There are going to be times when people come in for good projects that we want to lend a hand on. There's also going to be times when something acute happens that, holy cow, there's this event that's going on in the town, and I don't know what it could be. I mean, just take something like and I don't want to make it as drastic as this, but I want to overemphasize for a point. Like, say a 9/11 happens, and we want to have this huge memorial event for the town, and it's going to take police, fire, and maybe some concessions or something. Like, there's going to be some black swan event that we're always going to have the discretion to use it. So, in that way, whether the policy is written down, it's written down on paper, but it's really a fiat policy because we can change it at any time.
Right. And I think, just, again, remaining at the discretion of the select board covers quite a bit.
Yeah, like, even, and I think you had some language in there, but if, to be even clearer, to accommodate what Dan is saying, which I think makes sense, is the language could say something like, exceptions to this policy are at the discretion of the
Right.
board, even going a little bit further, say, hey, there may be times where there's an exception that takes this policy and throws it out, and the board needs to have that flexibility, and the public should have that transparency to understand that could happen.
Right.
So having that language in there, again, just like everybody is saying, it's always at the discretion of the board. Even having the policies is at the discretion of the board, but that transparency and expectation with the public is, I think, the important piece.
Okay. So we could just make a motion to accept it with the edits.
should we note the
We would
edits?
just, yeah, and Sabrina will have those too, so I'll talk with her about.
Yeah, it's on tape, so she'll
Obviously.
grab them right off the tape.
Yep.
Okay, and do we agree with my proposal as well, that another,
I think
we
that's
should also
fine.
mention a preference toward investment in town assets?
I think that's fine.
Sure.
Yeah, that's fine.
Sure, come on up. Hi, Eileen.
Just a thought. Considering that you have, in a sense, there's a relationship with Camp Pembroke that keep giving the funds because they feel it's the right thing to do. Have you checked with them if they feel okay with the
Yes.
changes? Okay.
Yep, I actually spoke with the directors a couple of weeks ago.
Okay.
To check in.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Thank you. I just thought I'd make sure that way, sometimes when you make changes and the relationship gets a little weird.
Yep, no, they were
Yeah.
very excited by the prospect,
Okay,
actually, yeah.
great. Thank
I
you.
will say, Elaine, thanks for bringing that up. So we had a discussion, Chair and others had a discussion with Camp Pembroke. We have had correspondence with other folks in town, the pond groups, and they would like us to make a priority of the ponds. And that's a great idea, great thought, and that's part of our calculus. And I will let them know, they're not here right now, but I'll let them know that it's certainly part of our calculus when we're thinking of how to expend these monies. The ponds are one of the town things that's kind of baked into the statement, this policy. So I will let them know.
All right, do I have a motion?
I would move to accept the proposed policy for, oh, you have one right here?
Nope, just saying for the,
For the community fund grant application, as amended.
do I have a second?
Second.
Motion and a second, all in favor?
Aye.
Thank you. Alrighty, moving on. Discussion and possible vote for the town manager evaluation process. This was also pushed from last week. We weren't sure who we wanted to choose to complete the evaluations for the town manager. I know that we had a couple that we were definitely in agreement on, but we had some to choose from that we hadn't really gotten limited to the 4 that we're supposed to choose. I don't know if anybody had any solid thoughts on this week on what their 4 were that they wanted to go with.
Why don't you tell us what you're the chair, and I will take what you say and put
Who I think?
I will put heavy weight on it, so why don't you let us know?
Okay, so who I was thinking was, I agreed with Dan Sullivan. I really enjoyed having Lance Kennedy. I thought that it was important that we have somebody from the finance team, so I thought, I forgot that we did Kathleen McCarthy the year before, so instead of having her, I thought maybe we could do Jean Gigliotti. And then I had originally suggested Kathy Benvey.
Kathy's going to be...
I know she's leaving, so I did take that off. So my 4th person, I would probably choose Lisa Cullity. I know I had a little bit of a toss-up between Lisa Cullity and Andy Wandell, but my top 3 were Dan, Lance, and Jean, and Lisa being my 4th. But I welcome your thoughts.
I'm good.
You agree with those? Steve?
Yeah, I think those are good suggestions. I'll float also that, I mean, there was 5 that I was thinking of, which was Lance Kennedy, Dan Sullivan, Andy Wandell, Jean Gigliotti, and Lisa Cullity. So it sounds like there's kind of alignment building on who the 4 should be. I'm fine with either Lisa or Andy.
Okay, I'll settle it. Andy, you're out.
Okay.
All right.
John? You're fine with those?
Yeah, I'm fine with those 4.
Okay.
He's sitting at home right now saying,
Yeah, thank you. Thank you. You're welcome, Andy. We do have a motion here. We do need to vote who we're going to choose. If somebody would like to make it.
I would move to begin the town manager review process to include responses from Lance Kennedy, Dan Sullivan, Lisa Cullity, and Jean Gigliotti, with responses to be collected and compiled by the town manager's staff for the board's consideration at the meeting of November 20th, 2024.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Perfect. Thank you so much.
So as far as the process, are we going to talk about that a little bit tonight?
Well, we did last week, so we talked about the date. We would like to have evaluations come back November 20th. We all received, I don't know if you saw in your packet, you have the evaluation tool for each of us has to evaluate as well and would have those back. We do need to choose 2 members of the board to discuss evaluations with Bill. I don't know if that necessarily needs to be voted on or just talked about. Last year it was John and I. Last year it was John and I don't know if anybody has any interest in being that person or those people.
I want to say two things.
Okay,
I have two people in mind, but I'm going to fill this out.
of course.
But I'd like to discuss it with the two people going in to meet with Bill.
Well,
Problematic.
Can we do it in executive session?
You would have to have a meeting.
Right. I have more to say than on here. And I just want the two nominees to go into that meeting with that information.
so why would you not put it on the evaluation?
I don't know that I'm a great writer. I'm more of a speaker. I'd like to, even if it's a one-on-one, which would not be an issue with the state, if I could just discuss like some things, more to it.
I understand, but it would be helpful if it was there.
I can do my best, but I have more to say.
Okay.
That it's better just be said than written.
Why don't you be one of the people then?
Well, I was
Yeah,
gonna.
there you go.
That
Problem solved.
solves that. Thank you, Dan.
Well,
Yeah.
listen, I'll leave it up to you guys, but I have a lot to say on it. I'm gonna write what I want to write, but there's more to it than you can put on paper.
Okay, understood.
Because here's the thing, the two people will come report to the board in the type of meeting that you're suggesting. So if you happen to be one of those two, that'd give you a leg up to where you're trying to get, I think. And then when we all get together, we can discuss frankly, openly and frankly, in a private session,
Right.
an advertised private session.
Okay, I'll leave it at that.
I nominate Rich to be one of those people.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
That solves that.
Solve that. Problem solved.
Do you abstain or nay? You didn't vote. Abstain.
Does anybody else have any strong feelings about, I'm happy to do it again? I didn't know if anybody else was interested in
Yep.
doing so.
And so, just so the public knows, that whenever there's a subcommittee, it's an appointment by the chair. The chair can choose whoever they want, but the way this board has worked for, as long as I've been here before, it's like a democratic, we open it up for people, so there's really no need for a vote. It's really an appointment of the chair, but we do it because we have, camaraderie and respect for one another.
Right.
So it sounds like technically the chair could choose it, but normally, the norms are, it's democratic.
Yeah, it's an unwritten rule.
Right, right.
So I move Trace Marino.
Second.
I guess all in favor?
Aye.
All righty, thank you. All right, I lost my agenda. Town manager's report, Bill, what do you have for us?
So the big thing is a paving update. I am super excited about the hut in place. I went and spent an hour of my day there today just to watch it, to see how it worked. We were somewhat familiar with it, having seen it before, but I wanted to watch it on our roadways, and I was incredibly impressed. Those three pieces of equipment go down the road very slow, probably 2 miles an hour, and they warm, heat, rotate, and then they roll over it, and as soon as that rolls over it, you can drive on it. I mean, it's absolutely amazing. That's not the final coat. There is a small top coat that goes over the top of that. But the savings that we're going to have over the next several years as a result of this process is going to be incredible. There were some really rough spots on School Street that came out pretty smooth. There's one rough spot that didn't, but they're addressing that, so I'm incredibly pleased by that. That will continue a bit tomorrow. They're almost done, but it will be a little bit tomorrow. We're also going to be continuing on West Elm Curve and Oldham to finish up those roadways with some of the paving, and then
For that hut in place, Bill, just a technical question. Once that finished top coat is put on, that thin layer, as you called it, we've had problems in this town with doing a microplaning, a micro coat with a delaminating over time.
yeah, we're not.
Is that taken care of with this technology?
It's a different procedure, slightly different procedure. Where the adhesion is unbelievable. They add an asphalt emulsion as they're rolling this out today that will allow that to adhere very incredibly well. They use it on, the state uses it on some major roadways. The one that we had looked at before was Route 110 in the, was that Salisbury and one of those 8 communities, whatever it is up there, which is a 4-lane road, and unbelievable. And the state was very pleased, and when we went up and looked at it, it was really, really good. So I'm super excited about that. We're going to be able to accelerate our paving program as a result of this, because we won't have to be grinding off and putting down. And because we can save a little bit of money, actually a lot of money, we'll be able to accelerate some of the roads that we can pave. So you're still not going to be able to get into some of the neighborhoods because of the size of some of this equipment. So that'll be done in a more traditional method, but we're also looking at getting ahead. If we can catch up, we can get ahead so we can use some of the other technologies, such as a chip seal or a crack seal, which will extend the useful life of those roadways well beyond where we are now. So really, really good. I'm very, very pleased by this. So
Yeah, I saw it this morning on the street over there, and I went by it, and, you know, obviously there's a little bit of traffic disruption because they're taking up one side of the road, but it's a relatively small section, so the disruption is relatively minimal. It's amazing the amount of work that they've gotten done in such a short period of time. And I remember getting like ready to drive up, you could see the heat coming off this thing. It's really intense, and it's just a really, really amazing technology that they're able to do that. The cost, was it 75% savings versus a mill and overlay?
yeah, it's about that.
That's amazing, and that includes the top coat that's going to go on as well.
Yeah, because
Okay.
it's the two, and actually next year the top coat will even be less because we're going to use a better, not better. Shouldn't say that. It's not better. It's just a different technology. We can't do the top coat that we will be doing next year now because it's too cold. But if we do this in the summer months, we'll be able to use a different top coat which adheres. They both adhere the same, but it's a slightly different technology. It's a cost savings. So
That's awesome, and then on top of that, with the AI technology around the road, you can identify things
that's-
quicker too, and it's almost like a combo move
Yeah,
at that point.
that's, the AI technology is proving to be absolutely amazing. I mean, and it's just, it's going to be a huge time saver.
One other question, so talking about your fish diagram, et cetera, you typically, obviously, want to address the roads before they get to that point. Is it more cost effective from when a road is put down relatively fresh, or the timeline is reset, to wait until you typically do a mill and overlay and do the hot in place instead based on the cost? Or is it better to still do a top
So
coat
you-
anyway before you get to that point, and then where you do the mill and overlay and then do
You still
the hot
want
in place?
you still want to do your normal procedures for maintenance.
Okay,
However, instead of a mill and overlay, you'll be doing the hot in place. I mean, if we can do a hot in place, it works. Drive it. I mean, and the top coat's not even down, but drive it. It seems like a
yeah,
fresh roadway. It's amazing. So
yeah, really amazing.
very pleased.
Thank you.
So the other thing I wanted to announce real quick was we're entering the fall season for household hazardous waste. Really good one this weekend. We participate with South Shore Recycling Cooperative in Hanover from 9 to 1 on Saturday. That's this Saturday, the 5th. They're having a household hazardous waste. What's unique about this one is it's one of the household hazardous waste, one of the few that we do annually that does take latex paint. So if you've got a lot of latex paint you want to get rid of, it's free of charge for Pembroke trash. If you pay a trash fee, this is free of charge for you. It's included in your trash fee. And one caveat, you have to pre-register. So make sure you go online on our website, Household Hazardous Waste, and pre-register if you want to go. And this is one of the closer ones. So we do a spring one. We don't do a fall one, but Hanover's doing one on Saturday. So take advantage of that. So it's a super, just awesome program. So that's all I had tonight, unless someone has a question.
I do.
Okay, great.
For the approved road process, have we had any applicants for basically the folks who want to make sure their roads are approved for the town of Pembroke?
we've had discussion, but we have had no applicants.
Okay.
You mean for
accepted
straight
ones?
acceptance?
Exactly,
Yeah.
yes.
We've had no, no applicants.
But they would apply to the planning board, right?
Correct,
Yeah.
yeah. I talk to Sue on a regular basis, so, but they wouldn't come to us.
No,
I'm
that's
not,
what you
I'm
would
not
know.
aware of any.
Okay.
There's been a discussion of a couple of roadways, but nothing where we've seen applications, so.
Bill, do we know the early voting dates yet?
I had them, I'll email it out to you. It's coming up, it's what? I think, yeah, it starts on the 19th and it finishes on the week prior to the election.
Okay, yeah, if we could just.
And that's gonna be here at Town Hall, and
Yeah.
we're gonna publish that.
It's a terrific program, and I just want to make sure it gets out to the people
Mm-hmm.
that we know, and I think, you know, Town Hall's done a good job in the past, so as soon as you know, put it out there.
We shall.
To piggyback off that question, and I agree, especially, you know, with the limited parking that we're gonna have, we probably want as many people, you know, early voting as possible. What is, are we developing a plan, or is Andrew McKettrick and the team developing a plan to manage the parking situation that we're gonna expect? Because we're gonna be seeing
So, I am,
up 10 times the amount of traffic.
I'm in the process of setting that up, working with the police department, making sure that we have a solid plan, enter, exit, that we have an overflow plan. Let's hope we don't, but there are some people that are nervous about making sure that we have an overflow plan, and encouraging everybody to vote. When you're around, pop into Town Hall. There's going to be a weekend day, you know, so pop in and vote.
Any idea with the parking, what other areas of parking are gonna be using?
So, not to give it away, but there's going to be some stores that are closing that are going to free up a lot of parking that's nearby. So, that's, we have not discussed that with them yet, so I don't want to, that is not an announcement, that is a possibility. You know, and working with some of the space, having employees park off-site to expand some of those possibilities.
If we run out of parking, all over, from the community center and all of Town Hall, then, boy, we have a really engaged electorate.
Yeah, and we got the library.
Yeah,
It's a good problem to have.
Yeah,
I
there's.
don't think it'll get that bad.
No, I don't think so either.
I'm just thinking about, because during the state primaries, there was maybe 3,000 people total who voted?
Yeah, but we
2,000?
never ran into a parking problem.
No parking problem, but I'm thinking traffic, et cetera.
Mhm.
And then if you're talking up to 10 times, I wouldn't be 10 times, it'd be more like 5 to 7 times the amount of traffic and parking, then we would definitely overload that parking.
Sure, but it's, we have, yeah, I said, with early voting, it shouldn't, hopefully it shouldn't be a problem, but you're talking about 14,000 voters in the town of Pembroke.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
So-
If we had 3,000, then you're talking
Yeah,
about
but
we've
5 to 7 times.
We've never
Yeah,
hit
no.
that 14,000 trigger.
No.
I mean, it's never happened here.
Really?
So.
We've got
I
like
mean, we're-
85%, I think, one year, that was like back in 2010 or something.
Yeah, I mean, it's
So
not.
11, 12,000 is still 5, 6 times the amount of people in traffic.
Mhm.
So, okay. Just making
But
sure
we're,
that
we're absolutely
Okay.
discussing it, taking input from all of those, and, you know, working. We have significant parking along here, and then we'll work with others to expand that.
Okay, all right, thank you.
Thank you, Bill. Do we have any liaison updates tonight?
Bylaw Review Committee, we're going to be meeting Tuesday, October 8th, 4 PM, Town Hall. Just general discussions before we get to town meeting. We'd love to have anybody come in and give their opinion on bylaws. And if you can't make it, if you could send us an email, we'd be happy to have that discussion as well.
Thank you, Rich. Do we have any old business? Any new business? Do we have any community comment from the board? Do we have any community comment from our guests? Okay. All right then. Upcoming issues, October TBD, update on the town-owned parcels. November 6th at 7:30, public hearing, Board of Assessors FY '25 tax classification hearing. And that is everything. Do I have a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Thank you.